Joshiebear plays Minecraft.
What is going on, everyone? It's Joshiebear, and we are playing the Minecraft up here on top of the world, admiring the beauty that is I don't know, the glory that is our new witch farm. And I've been AFK for a little while, and I figured we'd start the episode just to try to we're falling and bask in the glory that is the newfound bounty of this farm. Now, I haven't checked it for a little while, but I was hoping that maybe we'd see quite the collection of items here in our storage system. And oh yes, we are seeing quite the returns. Gunpowder, redstone, glowstone, sugar, bottles, spider eyes, sticks for days. I'm so glad that we spent the time last episode putting this together, and we made a few improvements here. Got myself a little bit better entrance into the underneath of the farm, but we're not going to be spending a lot of time here today because we've got some other things to tend to today. And when I say things to tend to, I mean things that, well, we've just neglected over time, things that it seems to be a recurring theme here in our Let's Play world. We build things and we're like, yeah, and we use them for a while and we just kind of leave them alone after that, and we don't think about how to make them any better. And that's kind of what today is, episode 23. I'm calling it the Renovation episode because there's a few projects I'd like to get to in this episode. But before we get to that, there is one thing I want to kind of show you guys here in the homestead, and that is this newfound, I guess, skeleton of a structure right by our new house. And over the last few episodes, I've been thinking about storage and the lack thereof. Our storage system over there behind the shack, it's worked up to a point, but now I'm finding that I'm running out of space to store like specialty items and things like that. Our bulk storage is okay, but I think we can do better. So this netherrack and stone brick monstrosity here by the riverside is the home of our new storage area. And I've kind of laid out an area here. I don't know that the end result will be in this exact shape. But I've tried to lay out some areas just to kind of give me a guide as to how things might fit in here. So this back wall, as you can see, is actually the area in which the item sorting would take place. So this would be the sorting system area from front to back. And then after that, we would have our chests for our bulk storage. And then I would have a collection of barrels, maybe some other chests lining the walls here for our specialty items. So like stone brick stairs would have its own barrel, and like wood planks of a certain kind would have its own barrel. Fence posts would have their own barrel. But I want to make sure that every item has a home, and we have enough storage to where we're not just starting groups of junk chests, which is the point that I'm getting to. Now, this is not the project that we're going to work on this episode. Now, we might make a little progress here in this episode, but this is something that over time we're going to be building up and eventually have completed. We may spend an episode or two with the actual building design, but I don't want to bore you with the building of a storage system. But there is one mass system that we do need to address, and it's been on my mind for a little while. I'm going to go sleep, make it daytime, and we're going to get into our first project of the day. So our first stop in today's renovation episode is a place that you and I really haven't visited a lot of together. Now, this is our super smelter, and we built this about, if I could press the right buttons, we built this about 10 episodes ago. And at the time, I was like, yeah, we put together something that works pretty well, and it's gotten a lot of use. With the projects that we have put together here in the last few episodes, this place has earned its keep. But there are a couple things that they're just not sitting right with me. The first, and probably the most obvious to a lot of you, is the way this looks. I'm okay with the awkward shape of it, but we never really came back in and finished it or polished it up. And I feel like if we can get a little bit better planning or a little bit better design with the distribution, we can make this a much cleaner build from the outside. But if we couldn't, I would be okay with that. But that's one goal that I'd like to accomplish here. The second part is really the reason why I want to tear into this. So if we come to the back, there's a couple things I want to point out. First is this whole mess back here. This is how the items get back to our distribution. Now, these systems work pretty well. I just think that they're messy, and we could have done a much better job of, I guess, planning out how these items get brought back here. It's just that simple. But the other part of this is the actual minecart system that we have set up here. Now, it looks like it's running as normal. There's nothing in the system to be loaded into the minecarts, so of course these pistons should be holding these minecarts back. And as you can see, at this moment they are. So I'm going to go release them. And then I'm going to shut the system again, so that way they should get caught by those pistons. They should. But they don't. So the fuel line works as it should. It barely gets caught in there, and it stops when it shouldn't be going. But our item line, this is the line for the items that get smelted. It never actually gets caught up in this piston. It should have enough momentum to get up there, but for whatever reason, it doesn't. And the only thing I can think of is that this piston right here is rubbing against the side of the minecart. Now, if I come up here and push it, I can push it up into place, and it stops running, which is, okay, that's all right. But I don't have time to come and babysit this. If I'm going to drop some items off in there, I want to go do something else real quick while my items are smelting. And what's happening is that minecart isn't filling up as much as I would like it. So, like, we would get items in, like, the first 7 or 8 furnaces, and that would be the end of it. And the other furnaces would never smelt anything. So I'm not getting the full potential of my smelter unless I'm babysitting it. And at that point, I might as well just have a bunch of furnaces lined up and just manually put the items in myself. So we are going to tear apart all of this. We're going to tear it all down, and we're going to build it from scratch. And we're going to make it more compact, and we're going to build it in a way that hopefully allows us to have a better managed distribution system, I guess. And when I say better managed, I mean I don't have to babysit it. So I'm going to get to tearing all of this down, and when I'm done with that, we'll bring it back, and I'll show you how I'm thinking about laying this out. So hopefully you all remember what that monstrosity looked like over there. I'd like to forget as soon as possible. But we have managed to take everything down and reconfigure all of the working parts into something that's a little bit more compact. It's still pretty big, and I think there's probably some better ways that I could have done some of the circuits and whatnot. But basically, we took all of the furnaces and hoppers, and instead of that L shape, we just created a U shape and sent it back off into the corner here. I have tested this out, and I can confirm that the minecart system now works as intended. So I'm pretty happy about that. Changed it up just a little bit. Instead of just having pistons come across, I took sticky pistons with a glass pane and stuck it over top of that detector rail. And we've got little circuits here to run those. I even installed the circuit to release those, to let them run freely. And we took out some of the observers that are back there. If I can get up there. It's a little difficult to get up there right now. Hopefully I can get up there. There we go. Yeah, we took out some of the observers, replaced them with note blocks, just to make that a little more clean. And save on the observers. We didn't need that many. But I have actually fueled everything up and did a test of the fuel line, and it is working just fine. I think I'm going to take some stone and make some smooth stone out of that because I do want to get the decorations in before we move on to our next project. I'm not going to make you watch that. I think you've watched enough of me just kind of decorating some things and really just want to get this done so we can move on to our next project. All right, and here's the reveal from our first renovation project today, and it's not all that exciting, is it? But sometimes when you redo things, whether it be in real life or here in Minecraft, you end up doing something much simpler than you originally wanted to, and I think this works for what we're going to do. We don't look at this a lot. We use it a lot, but we don't look at it a lot. I tried to add a little bit of detail here, and I think this is something that we can just add a little bit here and there as we move on. The big thing was the functionality. I wanted it to be just a little bit more efficient with the resources that we're using. Also, I was able to get rid of that ugly floor and do a little bit of a variation of that, and I think this looks much, much better. It's got a pattern to it, kind of diamond shape in there. Got to use up some of the blackstone that we tore out. But I think that is a wrap on this project. It's time to move on to our next renovation. So our next chore on the list today brings us to the mob farm. And I have been so happy with how this has served us in this world. But one thing about this that I haven't been happy with is the storage. Although I really, really enjoy watching the mobs rain down. Now, I think our item collection is awesome. It's a silent dropper elevator, which is really nice. I wish I'd used this more. But the actual storage, it's just a bunch of chests, and it's not really all that organized. And I think we can just put in a simple item sorter in here and make this look a little bit better. Also, rearrange the chests so they're actually facing a direction that makes sense and it's a little easier to get to. So it shouldn't require us tearing any of this down, but we will have to add some blocks here to expand out our platform. I think I might actually grab some of that glowstone and put it here in the floor so we can get rid of the torch spam everywhere. But we're gonna get this done real quick. Well, it took a little bit of work, not as much as I thought it was going to take. I thought it was going to be a little more involved, but other than one more row of chests here on top and a little bit of beautification, I think we can say we've completed our renovation up here in the mob farm, at least the storage area. There's a lot more to do up here, but I kind of want to spread my efforts around the world today. We do have everything sorted row by row, except for the witch drops. I'm just going to have the witch drops just all come into this row here. I don't need to sort them. There's not that many witches, and like gunpowder, it's automatically going to go there. Spider eyes are going to come over here. So we should be good as far as storage goes. And that's a wrap up here at the mob farm. Let's move on. Why am I standing so close, you ask? Well, that's to get your attention, because it's time for a progress update. Yeah, so I've definitely been busy in between projects in this episode, and we've got a good portion of the bulk storage in place now for our new storage area. I've started to put the barrels in place just to see how it's going to lay out. I don't know that I'm going to keep the barrels where they are. I think that like this wall and these two walls will stay. These side walls here near the bulk storage, they may end up coming out eventually, because my one fear is that we're not going to leave ourselves enough room for expansion if we would need it. But I think we can make that call as we go. I have 29 columns of chests here. I don't know that I'll need all of that for bulk storage, but I think that's enough for us to ensure that everything that we would want to bulk store has a home. So the next part, I think, for me is obviously I need to get the rest of the chests and hoppers up here in the bulk storage area. But it's really going to be laying out the item transport and the item unloaders, because in this area, or even in this area here, there will be like a drop chest that I can put my inventory yet, and it's going to take everything to where it needs to go. And there'll also be a shulker box unloader that I'm going to put in to ensure that I have a proper shulker unloader. I've got a hopper with a lever hooked up over there right now just to kind of fill into my junk chest or my drop chest for the storage area now. I want to make sure that, we have something a little fancier moving forward. I mean, we've got the time, we've got the resources. Why not do this the right way? So that's likely the next progress update we get will be that part of the project at least underway or finished. Again, this is not something that we're going to finish in this episode. Probably not even in the next episode. I would imagine here within 5 episodes, 5 being the most, at least the storage part of this will be done. And then we'll start to work on the outside. I don't want to be hasty about this because it's going to be a big build. I mean, think about the area that we have here. I'm laying out the functional side of it first so we can build the shell around that, and then we can decorate the inside. But I think it's going to be a pretty big build if we want it to look somewhat decent. And I'm thinking it's going to be along the same lines as our house here, only because, we're in a new era. We've beaten the dragon. We're starting to step up our game, and the old way of life, as much as we might have loved that old way of life, it's time for us to move forward into the future. So I think adopting a more modern style moving forward, or at least for these projects over here, I think it's a good call. It's almost like this was our beginnings, and this is like old Joshiebear land, and this is the new suburban or this is probably the suburban area, and this would be like the storage units that everybody rents out because their new homes can't house all of the stuff that they used to have, because we're trying to eliminate carbon footprint, and we've adopted tiny homes. Even though my new home is bigger than my last home, I just don't have enough room for everything, and I am spiraling out of control. Okay, I've collected myself. Whew. All right. Yeah, so we're going to step away from this project for a little bit, and we're going to move on over to an area that has been largely ignored. So we have spent a lot of time over here in this area, with the villager trading hall, with the sugarcane farm, and there's one part of this that we haven't been to in a while, at least on camera, and that is our farmer's market. It's a sad little farmer's market, I do admit. We could probably expand our operations a little bit, but we spent so much time down here, building up the farms that are fueling all of our emerald making adventures over here, but we never really finished out the area in which all of this sits. And we've even got like this little storage area over here that we're not even using. I mean, there's nothing in here. Oh, there's some bone meal. Oh, good to know. So this could even go if we needed to take it down. But I feel like we need to give this place some love. And Scary Terry, yeah, he definitely thinks so as well. So I've got to get Scary Terry off to a safe place. We're going to start to dig some of this up and see if we can make the area a little more farmer's market-like. Whether that's good or bad, I don't know. But this has got to go. So I think we've made a vast improvement to that area. We basically just set everything down on the terrain that was there and really didn't think much about it. But now we've got the path that's extending down and around and into I call it the farmer's market because that's where our farming villagers do business. And I'm okay with this. This is a much better look and feel, and it actually ties in with the rest of this area with the path coming around, the fences, and the lanterns here. So, mission accomplished. We made this area look much more finished, much more clean. So there's one more thing I want to show you guys before we ended the episode, and that's a project that we've started back here in the flower forest. Now, I know I've talked about it before, but this area I want to try to turn into like a dye farm, and I've actually started to put together my wool farm. And as you can see, I have a lot of sheep over here. There are actually 16 sheep here, one for every color. I don't have every color yet because there's some dye that I'm missing, but as you can see, we've already starting to get some different color wool in here. Oh, there goes our firework. But yeah, I've got got every color of wool and some leads still left in here. But this is a project we actually took on a stream on Twitch. And if you're missing out on the streams, I'm streaming weekly, typically Saturdays or Sundays. Right now, it's just what my schedule's allowing me to do. But if you want to come hang out, watch me do little projects like this around the world, go to twitch.tv/Joshiebear Plays. Leave me a follow so you'll know when I'm on. Come hang out, join the conversation. We'll have a lot of fun. So I feel like we got a lot accomplished in this episode. We got our super smelter in a little bit better configuration and in better working order. We got actually a lot done on the storage system. I didn't expect to get this much done in between projects this episode, but over the next few more episodes, we'll be putting in some more chests, putting in some more storage, probably reconfiguring a little bit as we see what needs arise. But really happy with all of the things that we got to, things that normally I would just leave out of sight because I feel like, oh, we got to do a build or we got to make this farm for the episode. But sometimes, even in your own worlds, you just got to go around and tidy up some things and make some things better. But I think that's all we're going to have for this episode. I mean, we could watch me sit at the tree farm and cut down a bunch of trees, but that's not very exciting, is it? So I'm going to leave you with that. I'm going to go and get busy with that wood cutting. And next episode, we'll get a little bit of a progress update on our storage system, and we'll find some more trouble to get into. I actually think we might try to do some exploring, maybe find ourselves a shipwreck, because I would really like to get my hands on some bamboo. I really need scaffolding. But as always, thank you for stopping by, spending some time with me. I always appreciate it. If you appreciated the time we spent together, please leave a like. Also, consider subscribing. I greatly appreciate all the support. With that, I'm Joshiebear. I'm out of here. I'll see you later.